We hadn't seen it before. Yeah, it was something that we saw like in the world, in walls, in museums is how we experience art. But a real like living community of artists, and beyond that, even just a living community of thinkers and writers seemed something that we really, really desired.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think we were also really curious about what the ultimate resolution of all those stories was, that they'd go off into their own separate places and they would create their works in isolation. And so it seemed strange to us in a way that the process of making the production site, the exhibition site, the space of ideation, the community site, the place for materials, all those are separated within an art world, within most creative worlds. Even the university is like this moment of growth, and then you're like out into the world, and it's like, now you're what? Like, you're gonna be a writer? I just like, like went to a university and got an amazing degree and like studied writing, like, and now I'm gonna like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go work at a newspaper and like try to work my way up. Like, it doesn't really even, it was sort of unfathomable. Like, how would you become a fiction writer? Right, I'm just like gonna leave college and just start writing fiction. Like, what are my stories? What am I responding to? Who are the people that I'm engaging with? What's my community look like? And, I think there was a certain naivete and like, yeah, that actually is just what you do. You like leave and you have a story and you go for it, and you build connections and networks and things like that. And so in a way, we were just sort of finding a way to do that. But what was unique is that all the stories, all the potential, all the characters, their addresses, every tiny minutia of detail is already written in the world. It doesn't need to be made up. And it all exists within this building.
Yeah.
There's just that much stuff in here that every single little detail and possibility can come from truth. It's just a matter of rearranging them to tell the story that you want to tell. We wanted this space that was totally outside the realms of familiarity, and yet was connected to so many things that were familiar. Hi, my name is George Shear. I'm co-founder and director of Elsewhere, a living museum and artist residency set inside of a former thrift store downtown Greensboro. I was a writer, and I was doing this writing workshop called Collaborative Fiction, and the idea was to go into public spaces, explore characters, people that were there, create these sort of characters, and then come back to the group and try to write them into the same story. And so in the midst of that, myself and Stephanie came down along with our friend Josh Boyette, and we came down to Greensboro actually for a concert. The next morning, so after the concert the next morning, I was like, you gotta check out my grandmother's old store. It's been locked up for 6 years, and no one knows what to do with it. So we came in and we took a box of stuff back, and we could just take whatever we wanted. And we filled up the box and we brought it back to the group, and the things really changed everything. They changed how we interacted among each other. They changed how we personified our characters. They changed how we imagined our characters' personalities and their characteristics. It became performative. We broke through that sort of wall, and what was most fascinating is that we began to see ourselves as a group mirroring the interaction of the characters that we were writing into these stories. And that became really the fascinating moment, that like the things became this performative element that allowed us to sort of transcend the word into this world of a collective or a collaborative creative space. What if we were to come down here and move into the store and decide that nothing would be for sale and nothing would leave, and instead treat it like this massive puzzle or this sort of singular set, this archive for which every part is necessary and holds so much potential, and then through a process of arranging and rearranging, produce and create this thing that instead of perhaps characters or narratives, we would have different communities. And the communities would come in and transform the space according to their needs. It would be sort of an autopoietic system in a way. So then to step into this store and say, actually everything that's here is of value, everything that's here needs to remain. The history is embedded in this place. It is an archive and a time capsule of 60 years of this town and also 60 years of like America.
Yeah.
And rather than like sell this stuff or get rid of it or put it away or turn it into a stale museum, we're actually going to invite some of the most creative, critical, engaged minds of our generation to come in and use these things to make works that become publicly available and interactive and engaged, and at the same time rethink what the museum can be in the 21st century.